And away we go. It's me. It's me. It's the original Big D. Now, if I just stop dumping shit all over myself. There we go. Knocked over some sprues here. I'll have to pick this up afterwards. Hello, crafters. Big D here. And they're sporting their colors. Thought today, thank you, Commodore. As a proud member of Team Warp Storm, thought I'd wear the jersey tonight and talk about all kinds of stuff, including being a member of a team. And I'm feeling a lot better. I got some extra sleep. Just took a quick nap before I got on the stream, so I'd be awake and alert for all this. Old man needs a sleep. Bear's looking a little. You can see I'm slipping on my side here. It's like Again, I gotta thank Commodore. He's been giving me a couple of really good beer balms to keep the bristles looking sharp. Sky Knox, look at it, man. Here we are in all our Warp Storm glory. So, we're about 2 weeks out from my first tournament of the season. I'm taking the guard. I've got one unit left to finish up. I just finished up my Rogel Dorn in my Black Company colors. So it's lots of brownish grays, rusts, some red combat stripes, as you can see here, very weathered. And, it's got a big hole in the bottom because, you know what? I don't care. It's got a hole in the bottom. Who cares? But yeah, so I'm working on that. He's not getting ready for the actual tournament, but I got him built and primed. I'll get to painting him soon. I want to do some effects on him. I actually might let Lady D paint him. But the big thing, the important thing I got for the tournament was I picked up my team dice today. 24 of these bad boys. A limited run from Warp Storm Gaming and Lounge. They are dope as hell in our pink, purple, and white colors. Not a limited run. Excellent. That's good to hear. Well, I mean, that's true. There was what? Something like 1,200 or like I know over 1,000 were bought, and there's very few left over. So people are very hot to get these dice. I like them a lot. And I bought 24 of them. I was very tempted to buy another 2 packs. If there's still some there come this weekend, I might pick up another 2. So I have 48 of them just to be over the top, because I don't know. I mean, all these up. The 6s are really nice. The dice are really nice. They're easy to read, but they're pretty. They're very bright. They're very easy to read. Listen to that sound. That's a good weight on dice. Knox, maybe you could tell me, who was the manufacturer of these dice? Because I think if there's anyone out there that wants to get custom dice, we should definitely hook them up with this manufacturer, because these are freaking gorgeous dice. These are Chessex. So these were actually Well, that explains a lot of why they're so high quality. Chestnut Smith's great dice. I mean, listen to that. Oh, that's a good weight. I don't know about other people, but I don't like little dice. I don't like light dice. I like my dice to have some weight, which is why, as much as people complain about the price of GW dice, which I'll admit is problematic, they're good, solid, heavy dice, and I like dice. I don't want to go with metal dice. I've seen people that use those. I'm just like, that's too much. But a nice, good, heavy, get in there. Oh yeah, you just want to knock that out. They're just great, and I mean the pink is very bright. The marbling of the pink and the purple came out really nice. The white pips and the white Warpstone logo is just, these are nice. I'm really, really happy with these dice. I'm glad. I really was going to get any because I just have so many dice, but Steam was like, come on. And I'm, yeah, okay, fine. So I got some. And I'm really glad I did. I'm actually really, really glad I did. Because, I mean, one, they are solid dice. And two, it is going to be kind of cool going to a tournament and rolling dice that match my jersey. Just being like, yeah, can you tell these are my dice? I'm kind of feeling it. I'm kind of feeling it. It's exciting. I'm also really, Mr. Fish, good to see you, my man. Good to see you. I'm also just really excited. I mean, I'm really excited to play. I gotta talk to my buddy. I'm trying to get a prep game in this Thursday. I really want to get a game in. I'm digging the list I'm working on. I'm digging the whole concept I'm working with my guard. I really like the new idea I have. That's slightly modified. It's not oops all tanks anymore, but it still relies pretty heavily on a trio of Layman Russes and obviously the Rogel Dorn. This thing packs a lot of firepower. I mean, between the cannon, the big cannon, and the two melters, the two multi-melters, the auto cannon, there's a lot of firepower in this thing. That is it's a beefy boy. So I'm digging it, and I like the way it rolls. I'm hoping with the way I've got my army configured, it'll do what I need it to do. Here's hoping. Nice. That sounds great, Fish. Get some points for the WOG. Orcs are doing great. And Arcs of Omen, I really like. I've been reading a lot of battle reports. And I've been reading a lot of tournament ratings. And Arcs of Omen, people are doing some crazy shit. Apparently somebody was running an oops all obelisks army. They had 3 obelisks and 3 tesseract vaults. I mean, shit, that's a lot of stuff. And it's most of your list right there. So that's kind of crazy. 3 obelisks, 3 monoliths. It's just crazy. But again, that's a lot of firepower to have to deal with. I mean, that's right up there with having the list that's oops all tanks. And there's a couple of those oops all tanks lists I've been seeing out there that are like, 6 Layman Russes, 2 Rogel Dorns, and a Baneblade, and then 2 tank commanders. It's just like, Jesus, it's a lot of stuff. And you got top 8 of Cherokee. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Double Stompa, way to go. Double Gompa. Nom, nom, nom. So like I said, I'm only talking about 40K a little bit. I'm talking about that I'm getting ready for the tournament, and then I'm excited about what Arcs of Omen are doing. There's not a lot going on this week, honestly. There's a new Erastus battle box is coming out that's going to have the 10 missile guys, the melee dreadnought that's running around with twin multi-meltas and a machine gun. Jeez, it's a lot of firepower for a melee. I wish the Ironhide dreadnought had that much melee power. Jesus. But yeah. There's that, and then it's going to have 5 heavy intercessors and the new lieutenant in it. So, I mean, it sounds like a solid box. It definitely sounds like a solid box. I'm finding it interesting that they're packing up a lot of battle forces. Like, battle forces used to be the Christmas thing, and now we're seeing like more battle forces, more and more battle forces, and that's crazy to me. But okay, I'll allow it. You know, that's what you want to do. That's cool. That's cool. I mean, getting a bunch of minis at a discount while working in a game store, so getting another discount, I'll allow it. I'll allow it. All the guard stuff came out released this week. Basically, the new combat patrol box is basically the Cadia box minus the book and the cards. It's the exact same box, exact same contents. The new commissar is completely underwhelming. I don't think he has half the flavor of the old commissar. I'm actually really uninspired by that sculpt. Yeah, the Death Guard one's pretty good. There's a couple of them that have been really good. The Border Patrol boxes are actually, in a lot of cases, they're very worthy add-ons to existing armies, which, unlike these battle forces, because some of them are just, you got to be this faction specific, or you're going to get characters you have. And I don't know, I'm still kind of want the Imperial Fist one just because I want everything that's in there, and I can convert the Imperial Fist in there into a Tech Marine or something. For my I can convert them into something else. Just because I don't play Imperial Fist. I don't want to make it sound like there's something wrong with Imperial Fist. There's nothing wrong with Imperial Fist. They're not my army. I don't enjoy their playstyle. And their lore doesn't inspire me. That's what Commodore is for. So if I get it, he's going to get some free upgrades, Bruce. And just like I've got a present for him. Where did I put him? I have a present for him because I bought a deal. I bought a lot deal off of Facebook, and this is part of the lot deal. And like, I don't like Kriegsmen. I'm not going to build one box of Kriegsmen just to have a 10-man squad of Kriegsmen in my army. They're not my thing, but they are Commodores. So he got himself 10 Kriegsmen. Yay, Commodore. But what Commodore did get, what Commodore and I both got, we got the game that's going to kill Warhammer 40K. Conquest. This game looks dope as hell. Oh my god. So when we were at Dragonfall last year, the tournament was stationed right next to one of the distributors, major distributors here in the United States. And so we were looking at this game all day long. This thing went on pre-order. The day it went on pre-order, Commodore ordered it. And we got it. We got it literally today. All right. I think we got it like this morning. Maybe he got it yesterday. We already split it up. He's got his half, and I got mine. Now, you got it yesterday. Now, first off, I want to point out this is something that Games Workshop could learn from right off the bat. So the starting box has 2 armies in it. And guess what they have in there? 2 copies of the rule book. So when you split the starter box with your buddy, you both get a copy of the rule book. What a fucking concept. I mean, goddamn. It's a small book. Why not put 2 copies in there? You know somebody isn't buying the box for themselves. They're buying a big 2-army starter box and splitting it with a friend. So give them 2 copies of the rules. Smart. Just smart. So let's start with that. Smart. Copy of the rules. And even though it's a mini copy of the rules, the text is well big enough to read. The rules are very clear. I haven't a chance to completely read them through, but the rules are very clear. It's a rank and flank styled war game. And it's the new starter box, so it's the city-states versus the Nords. Oh, look, there's Vikings in my war game. I wonder if Big D is going to get the Vikings. Okay. So Skynox was one of the team members of mine that was at LVO. He met the creator there, and I told him it's massively gamer friendly. Well, the game is gamer friendly. I want to point out, okay, so we got the box, and the first thing Commodore showed me, there's a letter in the box saying, hey, you're going to notice that the mold, that the sprues have some extra flashing on them. We are not happy about how that came out. There was a flaw in the mold, so we're going to redo the mold. But it shouldn't affect your army too much. It's just some extra flashing to clear up. But we just want you to know how dedicated we are to quality. So they're literally redoing their molds because the sprue, not the figures, but some parts of the sprue have extra flashing on them. Hey, Games Workshop, maybe you could learn something from these guys. Seriously? And then there's the figures. This is as detailed and as high quality as anything GW has put out. But I want to point out something really interesting. If you look at the figures and you look at the numbers, like they're just like GW, where the number pieces get put together on the instructions. But they literally have an arrow with each number pointing. Ow, bit my tongue. There is an arrow. You can't see it in this light. You can't see it, but I can see it clearly. Or you might be able, there you go, you can see it. Look at 35 right in the middle of the screen. Look, there's an arrow with the 35 pointing at the piece. So literally, they have arrows pointing at your piece. So there's no question as to, well, which piece do they mean? It's that one, dummy. There's an arrow. All the updates, 100% free, 100% digital. So you won't need to buy copies and copies and copies and copies of the books. The sprues are incredibly high quality. The figures are high quality. These are, I guess, are my archers. Because the Nords have a unit of archers. And then they get a unit of action shield guys. Look at that. Now, the other thing to point out is that these bad boys are big. These are not 25 millimeter. These very much come off as, I think, 32 millimeter. So that's my third sprue of the archer guys. Huskarls. So let's see. I got 2 sprues to make my shield dudes. 4 sprues of shield dudes. Some more archer guys, and it's probably like an archer leader, it looks like. So these are this sprue. That's interesting. Another this sprue of the Huskarls. I mean, this box, my half is $90. That's a lot of plastic for $90. And one of the main reasons I wanted this set, my giant. Because Nords don't screw around. That's a giant. Oh yeah, here's the third sprue. He's a big giant. He's a big boy. I mean, if you look in the middle of the sprue here, there's his feet. That's my thumb for scale. That's a big boy. That is a big, big boy. And then the banner pole and the leader for that kind. Like I said, it's real interesting that I can get all this plastic. Oh, and they're on bases for rank and flank. There's some cards here. I have to learn how to play this game. I'm going to sit down and watch some tutorials of it later. And because we pre-ordered and because we got the special edition, or not sure what the whole why and wherefore is, we also get a special leader type. Now, in this case, the leader type is cast in resin. And there's flashing on the resin. Oh, no. I want to point out, there is a skirmish mode as well. I want to look into that as well. The big thing I want to point out, the big thing that gets me, is that a lot of people complain, oh, it's resin. There's going to be a figure in resin. Okay, there are multiple kinds of resin. Not every resin is fail cast. This is not fail cast. This is high quality, really good resin. I can see that from looking at it. I deal in resin figures a lot. There are some really good, high quality resin out there for casting figures. Hell, all the stuff I print in resin. So resin is a perfectly viable. But the problem is that GW did so bad with fail cast. That is the immediate thing everybody thinks of when they think of resin. Like, oh, fail cast. There are a lot more resins out there than fail cast. And this stuff is not that. I'm looking at this. There are no bubbles. There are no gaps. Yes, there's some flashing. But I'm looking at it. It's not bad. It's super thin. This is going to clean up really nicely. and he is going to be a breeze to work on. So, yeah, I think Failcast, I don't think it scared the community. I think Failcast was so bad that it just gave Resin a bad name. And there's nothing wrong with Resin. Resin is perfectly fine. Okay, now I'm noticing, because I'm looking at these figures, and again, like these here, they don't have arrows because they're basically modular, print them, put them however you want. The only thing is that you match the letters and the torsos to make them match up. There's another company. I'm noticing that these are made in, they're cast in Poland. I recently got some War Game Atlantic figures, and I'm noticing it's the same sprues as far as the material and some of the die markings. So I'm thinking they're using the same caster that War Game Atlantic uses. My Space Nom and the Eisenhard, and there's a lot of really good alternate alternates for Guard done by Wargame Exclusive, and they're done in Poland. I think they're done at the same manufacturer. Now, the guys that make Conquest are out of Greece, and it's shocking how quickly they got here. They've got a whole thing with their March releases. They got stuff going on. Their orcs are coming down, which is their new faction. Eventually, they want to have 18 separate factions. Currently, they have 6. They just started releasing their 7th, which is their version of the orcs. They call them the Wadrun. Their orcs are Aztecs in nature. They're so cool. The company's name is called Parabellum. So para-bellum.com, or just look up Parabellum Games. You'll find them. Conquest is a good game. These are really quality figures. Everything I've seen about the game is fun to play. It's quick. I don't mind Rank of Flight. I love Song of Fire and Ice. Don't get me wrong. I like Age of Sigmar, but I want something that plays differently. I don't want every fantasy game to play the same. I want games that play differently. I want to have different experiences in different games. And I think Conquest does this. The other thing that's nice about Conquest is because I don't need to buy a ton of figures. I don't need to buy a ton of stuff to have a working army. Yeah, eventually I might buy some other Wardrun, but they don't have like this gigantic, there's 30,000 different figures. It's like what kinds of Primaris do you need to make your Primaris army for 40K? This isn't like that. There's, factions have figures, but they're not like ridiculous. Okay, so to get an idea here, this is the Giant's base that he fits into. When I pop this out, can grab one of my, that's what I thought. That's a 100 base. So the Giant is going to be sitting on a 100 square. So that's pretty cool. I will probably, although I don't think there's a need to do it with the Giant, but I think with the other figures, because they do have the recess, what I might do is stick a magnet. I saw somebody do this. You take the tray and you stick a washer in the bottom of the base, because the base is shallower, and then you drop a magnet in the tray itself, and that way the figures are magnetized to your trays, so your trays don't scatter all over the place. And the rules are catered to fashion game. It's 6 to 8 units. So the starter box gives you, I think, 3 units. I think it gives you gives you 4 units because you get your commander, you get a rank of my arrowmen, my shieldmen, and then I got my giant. So probably like 2 or 3 more units. So yeah, we'll I think Skynox and Skynox is really into it. I know him and my buddy Art, who are also on the team, we're trying to get this same box. I already have mine. So I'm really excited. Skynox, are you getting the city states? Or are you getting the Nords? Which one are you looking to play? They've got, like I said, they've got some other crazy factions. If you're not familiar with Conquest, they have so there's the city states, which are oh man of yeah, you delete it all you want. It still saw that you dead. Which is the Spire. All right, so here's the thing. So there's the factions in the game. There's the dwarves, which are crazy like mechanical dwarves and elemental type thing. You've got they've got like a giant thing with cannons on it, and they got a dragon with rockets on it. It's hilarious looking. You've got the orcs. Yeah, and the thing is, it's a living world. There's so much to this game. It's hard to stay in one thing because the game's all over the place, but not in a bad way. So the game is a living world. So, like, if you have an army, you can go in there and do things and be like, okay, and this, and choose for this, and you get to vote like so many times a day towards certain things. And so the world itself, the main world that the game is in, is ever changing. It's a living game world. And then there's like different factions, like the original 6 factions. There's the Nords, who are like, again, they're northern Vikings with giants and beastie type abilities. You've got the city states, which are kind of like Greeks, but with like steampunk mechanical things to them. Let's see what we got here. Quickly go on here to Parabellum and just talk about them real quick here. So, let's talk about the factions. You've got the 100 Kingdoms, which is a Roman type situation. No, that's Old Dominion. What are the freaking? Okay, so the 100 Kingdoms, they're like regular like fantasy knights and stuff. Okay, so they're like the Empire. So yeah, they're the knights. You've got the Spires, which looks like the elves. No, they're weird. Okay, they're weird shit going on there. They're biomages. What in the shit? Okay, this game is just weird. Okay, so yeah, they're biomancers using drones and husks. That's just crazy. You got the Dwagon, which are the psycho dwarves with their rockets on it, everything. You got the Nords, which are just Vikings with giants and other crazy ice abilities. You've got the Wadrun, which is their Aztec orcs. The Old Dominion, which is Roman undead. They're like demonic, vampiric, undead zombies. Just yeah. And the Nords are the most flexible. Well, that makes sense, because every army has to have their niche. And the Nords just do a thing. And then there's the city states, which is the ones we're talking about there. Yeah. I mean, you got to go to parabellum.com and just look at these different factions. This game is crazy. I suppose after I get a couple games in and read some more of the lore, I can give some better ideas. But it's just crazy. Such cool things going on. Yeah, the lore is very deep. Now, they understand that like all the art is I mean, like all the creativity, all the art that goes in here is a pair of guys in Greece. So if you go back to Parabellum and who we are, this is the great thing about it. This is the definition of an indie game company. We're a game manufacturing company whose creative badge based in Athens, Greece. We're the creators of Conquest, whose miniature is compromised of art plastic, high quality resin. Written by the game designer is Alessio Cavatore. And they're a small little indie company, and give them your money, get yourself a box set. I mean, $150 gets you a full army box. It helps support a little a little game company on their own. For a little company, they've got a lot of creativity going on. These orcs look fantastic. The orcs look fantastic. I want to see what else they have in the Nords, because there's 26 separate Nords. So there's the Blooded, the Jarl, the Shaman, the Captain, the Shieldbiter. These are their characters. And then they've got some name characters. And then they've got Raiders, Stalkers, Trolls, Huskarls, which is the guys I got here. The Bow Chosen, who those are other guys I got here. Valkyries, I gotta get me some of those. And the price point on these figures, holy shit. Okay, so you get a box of figures. GW just upped their prices. So a box of figures, just say you're getting normal Marines, is $60 USD for a single box of flipping Marines. Okay, $6 a figure. That's not bad when you break it down like that. But for a hobby that you're putting 40 figures, 50 figures, 60 figures on a table, that can get to be pricey. A unit is 12 figures in it looks like. And you're getting 12 figures plus the bases plus the stands, because they all go together. And that's $45. So $15 letter for a bigger squad, bigger bases. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, they're 38 millimeters. So the bases do seem the bases themselves seem like they're definitely bigger than a regular guard figure base. That looks like a 32 millimeter. So in the square, yeah, I can see how that's a 38 millimeter. Yeah, so these dudes are all like the size of your AOS bigger figures. I got to get some of these Valkyrie. Thank God, these are gorgeous. They've got multiple different kinds of. They've got a mountain Jotnar. They've got an ice Jotnar. They've got a sea Jotnar, which are their giants. Jotnar, sorry, Jotnar. Jotnars. Oh my gosh. So I got the mountain Jotnar in the box. Man. Fenrir. So these are Fenrir Beast Pack. So these are like big old wild demon wolves. Wow, those are freaking crazy looking. That's their cavalry unit. That's huge. All right, yeah. System is different. Like I said, I got to learn the rules on it a little bit more. I got to read the book. But I mean, it's different, and I like different, and it's in a genre I like because I like fantasy, but I don't want the same old fantasy. And I mean, I'm playing fantasy, I'm playing Age of Sigmar, and I'm liking my ogres because they're different than other armies. But now, I mean, I'm going to have these guys, and I know a lot of the guys are wanting to chomp at the bit, and I know Big Ben, he got a dwarf army, if I remember right, that he picked up at like Gen Con like last year. So we got some stuff going on here. I think we need to get some. I think instead of worrying about a Age of Sigmar escalation league, I think we need to get some conquest going. That's what I'm saying. This game looks good. The figures, God, I can't get over how good these figures look. I mean, they really do. These figures really do look good. These are good-looking figures. I really want to build this Jotnar. Hey, listen. It's a good-looking figure. I like him. He's just, I'm going to jack you up, boy. It's a big freaking giant. He is going to hurt somebody. I mean, he's using a tree as a weapon. He is going to beat someone to death with that tree. That's hilarious. I love this figure. I'm in love with him. He's my baby now. He's my boo. It's probably going to be his name, Boo the Giant. Boo Tree Smacker. Yeah. 3 sprues to make a big old Bennett's 100 Kingdoms. Okay. Well, I mean, let's get some dice rolling, man. Let's get some dice rolling. Let's go. Now we got to see if our boys at Warpstorm can stock anything. Get some extra boys. All right. Parabellum Games, guys. If you're not already looking at it, you need to look at it. Oh, I'm looking at this one-player starter. You get Raiders, you get Huskarls, you get Uger. I don't know. I might have to get the one-player starter set as well to go with these boys, and then I think I'm done with an army. Because, I mean, that's crazy. That's like, 8 units and a bunch of HQs plus the giant and the Ugers, which are ogres. Small giants. They're freaking huge. They're on cavalry bases. That's the other thing. I like that they're standard bases. There's infantry bases, there's cavalry bases, and there's giant bases. That's it. Everything fits on one of those kind of bases. That is the end of the statement. These are really nicely detailed figures, too. I mean, they really are just good-looking figures. And I know a lot of people are like, well, you get so used to the GW style, and these are not GW style at all. They've still got an impressive amount of detail without being all spindly and and ribbony with things to easily pop off and crack off and snap off and transport. We'll have to see. I think if we get a game going, we'll have to take some recordings and take some notes, my guys, and throw some content out here, because I'm sure Conquest would love to see some more content of their game getting played. I know. Wait a minute. I just remember I saw the thumbnail and I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. But Play on Tabletop has been playing some Conquest recently, so I might have to watch that, because I love the guys on Play on Tabletop. Yeah, we have to take a look. I'll have to take a look at that. All right, let's put you back in your house. All right, my guys. So let's move on. Age of Sigmar. They are getting Overlords. The Carry-Down Overlords are getting their new battle tome and their new stuff this week. And I am so disappointed in GW. Their last couple of releases have been like, oh yeah, there they are. No heralding, no build-up, nothing. Just, oh yeah, you're there. Like, seriously, guys? You guys are falling down hard lately. I mean, you're refreshing entire armies. You're putting out new codexes, new armies, Oh, that's why, because you're not doing any new figures. You're just repackaging them and driving up the price by 5%. Everybody knows I work at a game store when I'm not at my regular job. I spent the entirety of last night marking up one entire, what is that? That's a 20-foot length. No, 4 foot, 16. One entire 16-foot length of shelves of 40K. Because everything went up from a couple dollars to $5. Like, everything in their line, every bit of plastic went up in price, other than some of their individual figures. I understand, and I don't expect games to be free. I don't expect games to be free. I don't expect figures to be free. I get it. I really do. But when I can drop effectively $90 to have an entire starter army with just as many figures and just as many units as a Vanguard box, and a Vanguard box is almost twice that price. I gotta wonder why. My man, Mythos, you just missed us talking about Conquest, my man. Yeah, I found it like really kind of disappointing with G-Dubs. That the last 3 armies for Age of Sigmar that have gotten their codex and everything released, there's been no buildup, there's been no hype. They're just, oh yeah, hey, we're going on. They're pre-ordering this week. There you go. No hype, no nothing. Just here you go. Here's the army. Meanwhile, armies that don't need more figures right now, do not need more figures right now, are getting tons of hype about brand new figures, new box, new. it's like their rules team and their marketing team, their design team are working in 3 little rooms and never talk to each other. Because the design team's just like, well, we need this. Let's do it. And the rules team is like, guys, okay, we got to balance the shit out. Stop. Hang on. No, this is broken. Hang on. We got to fix this. And the marketing team's like, that's great. We'll do this. And I hear people complain that Age of Sigmar doesn't have that big a following. And yet it does. I hate to say this. It has a huge following. But I know of a lot of Age of Sigmar players that feel like they've been getting crapped on because Games Workshop treats them like they're not there. Like, if you're not playing an army they want to hype, that they're just like, okay, here you go. The Carrion Overlords are probably one of their most unique armies that they've come up with. Like, honestly and truly, unique sculpts, unique looks, a unique playstyle. They're an interesting freaking army. They're getting their 3rd edition codex, and they're like, oh yeah, here it is. And that's all they're doing. And yeah, Commodore, you point that out. They've got to show the stockholders constant growth. But they're doing that already. That's the problem. They have had ongoing growth. They have ongoing growing sales every freaking year for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years now. They have yet to have a down year. They've yet to have an even year. They have shown constant growth. I like Marines. I'm not going to lie. I like Marines. Those Skaven sculpts are showing their age. Those Gitz sculpts are showing their age. Put some money into Age of Sigmar and do some freaking, I don't know, market talk before you do it. I mean, the biggest problem is that we're talking about this at the store is interesting because we talk about when the Indominus Crusade came out. When Indominus Crusade came out, the requests blew up the website. They had never seen that much traffic in one day. Indominus Crusade blew up their site. And they did something they've never done before. We're doing a pre-release box, but because there's been so much demand for it, they saw the dollar signs and went, okay, we're going to put them we're going to fulfill the orders we have, but we're also going to continue filling orders and do a build to pay. So they do that. A year later, they release the 3.0 Age of Sigmar. And they shoved the Indominus Crusade style boxes. I don't even remember what they're called. But they shoved them down stores' throats. They shoved them down distributors' throats, and they shoved them down stores' throats. And they basically forced them to take minimum orders. And I'm going to come around to that because that's a very important thing. Yeah, you're seeing stores use those boxes, furniture. Okay, I work for the second largest game store in the state. The only thing bigger is Noble Knight Games. They've got 3 locations. They're huge. All 3 of our stores have the back wall lined with a double stack of them. There's easily 30 to 40 boxes, 2-year-old boxes that are 30 to 40 in each of our stores that are not selling. We do raffles. We do like sales every couple of months, and we do massive amounts of raffles. And every raffle we give away like a box. Here you go. Have a box, and it's just that is absolutely true. The big problem with concert, it's impossible. It's impossible until until you hit your top out, what you do is you create FOMO. Now, I was talking about this last week when I was really, really upset about the Kazakins getting limited release. They create artificial for some pieces that they know we're going to sell. And that's the thing. I think you exactly hit it on the. I think you hit it right on the nose. Yeah, that's what we're doing too, Commodore. We're splitting them where I work. We've split them, and the problem is, the other problem with them, but their failure to sell those AOS boxes as Indominus. Struggling with hype in AOS. The problem is they're putting the hype in AOS, but they're picking factions specifically that have historically done well in the past, and they're super hyping them. Like the whole Vampire Courts thing. When they did Curse City, they did all this new vampire stuff. And when they released the Night Hunt versus the Daughters of Cain box, 2 of their most popular freaking factions, they put them in a box together. Well, no shit, that box is going to sell like hotcakes. It's your 2 most popular factions, and you box locked a new HQ figure for both faction in that box. And now we're going to take Skaven and Sylvaneth and do the same thing. And that's true. 40K, as soon as 40K took off, it blew away fantasy because it's always been fantasy war games. This was the first real sci-fi one, and it took off because it's awesome. Even though they were at one point the exact same rules, it's just awesome. And there's really good stuff about fantasy. I don't want to lie. Like Warhammer Fantasy was great. It was a great game. I'm kind of hyped for Old World to come back. I have an Orcish army sitting over there waiting to come back to play that I can't really play in Age of Sigmar. But the bigger problem is that you got like they're just trying to they're just filling the slots. More Marines, because Marines are always a big seller. So when they get to a point where they're at a lull of their big games, that's when they're going to put out some more Marine stuff. Kill Team is absolutely killing it right now. Kill Team is absolutely killing it in sales right now. We cannot keep anything new on the shelves. We're lucky we have a few of the older box sets in there because we over-ordered on them. But everything new just goes out the door. And then with the newest set, they locked it so you only got so many of them. We could not fill all of our pre-orders with the latest round of stuff for Kill Team. Yeah, and it's just crazy, Knox. I literally, my store, which is one of the biggest stores in the city, as far as the actual store, the square footage of the store itself, one of the biggest in the city. We got 1 box. It was already set for a pre-order. Yeah, they limited the release. Dude, you should see how much the Kazurkin are going for. The Kazurkin were crazy. When they announced Kazurkin were coming back, every guard player is like, yay! Because the Kazurkin were the elite unit. They were like their good unit before they brought out the Tempestus Scions. They're basically Tempestus Scions with bigger squads and without any of the interference of being, locked to being part of the Inquisition. They're the good guys. There are veterans. There are badasses. They had great sculpts. They had amazing sculpts back in the 90s. In the early 2000s, those metal sculpts are gorgeous. They're absolutely beautiful figures. And I love the new sculpts. The new sculpts really do them justice. I've painted my 20 guys up, and they are really good-looking figures. The hoops I had to jump through. Working in the second largest game store in the state, the hoops I had to jump through to get 2 boxes were ridiculous. And the only reason I got the second box is because somebody else on staff who pre-ordered 2 boxes went, I wanted 2 because I just wanted them. You actually play them. I will give you, since you ordered 2 boxes, I'll give you one of my 2 boxes. With the hope that he'll get them when they restock. You should not have to jump through hoops to get basic units for an army. We have a GW store in town, and they don't have any. I absolutely agree with you, Took Your Dice. Here's the thing, Mythos. They're pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. They're pretty good. They are pretty good. I've seen a lot of builds that don't use them. I've seen a lot of builds that do use them. And my build uses 2 sets of them. But at the same time, when the Kazurkin box came out, that was the Shadow Vaults, I think it was, where it had the Kazurkin and whoever they were fighting in their box. We got 1 box of that. When we got Moloch, which is the Chaos Marines versus the Elves, we got 3 boxes of that. When we got the Orcs versus the Death Corps of Kree, we got 5 boxes of that. They know the Kazurkin, which have been out of print for 10 plus years, were a very desirable figure because there's a lot of nostalgia involved with them. And that is really where the interesting point is. If you look at the last 5 years, every time they have a nostalgia figure coming back into play, limited release. You want to get your hands on a copy of Blackstone Fortress? You can go to their website and buy a copy of Blackstone Fortress right now. Half of the expansions for that game involved retro figures being brought back into the modern age specifically for that game. You can't get them. They're not in print anymore. Why? They have molds. There's definitely desire for them. Why are they out of print? If they were to do a make to order, they make more money. And that's what I think they're doing. I think that's a lot of what their model is going to go to. Because I'm noticing that every time there's a new release, like 2 weeks beforehand, they always have some type of related made to order. When they were releasing the new Commissar model, they put all the old Commissars, including including old Bale Eye, who's dead and doesn't have stats anymore. But they put his figure in that build the order. When they rotated out a bunch of the old command units for both Marines and for Chaos Marines, before they got rid of them, they punched them up top and went, hey, we'll build the order. And half of them didn't make the cut into the new codex for the Chaos. You can't build a Chaos Lord with a jump pack anymore. But I'll be damned if they didn't have that model up on there. You can't play a Night Lord's Chaos Lord with a jump pack. Yeah. It's an interesting point that the more that things change, the more they stay the same. GW is not doing the predatory thing they were doing when they started putting their stores here in the US. And I have long stories about that. I have a lot of respect for small stores. That's why I don't mind working for one. And I'm not trying to badmouth GW too much because, I mean, they still produce a really good game. But this whole artificial scarcity thing is getting old. I know people that want that RBD's team. They want that team to play that team in their game. If they produced the sets, people would buy the damn game. And they know it. If they don't know that, if they don't know what games will sell with any amount of pre-hype, I don't disagree with you, Dice, and that's the shame. The argument will be that, well, they don't want to have the situation where they had with that Dread Fleet game, where they thought because pirates are the hottest thing in the world right now, they quickly and cheaply put together a ship fighting game set in the old world and quickly released it. And they thought it was going to be a big seller, so they overproduced it. And you could still find copies of that unopened, lying in game stores, using to prop up shelves because they prompted too many of them. Here's the difference. They didn't ask anybody if they just went, well, that's a good idea. They showed off those Arbides figures, and online went nuts about, I want those figures. Every time the rumor comes around that Space Hulk is going to get a reprint, online goes nuts because everybody loved Space Hulk. It's a good game. Every time I've heard them talk about, or heard somebody talk about, hey, how about getting a game of Battlefleet Gothic? Everybody I know that knows Starship Combat is like, that's a great game. We should get it when it comes back out. You look at how popular X-Wing is right now and how popular Armada is right now, which they both are. They could, with Armada specifically, they could bring Battlefleet Gothic out right now, even for a limited run, and it would sell. But they don't. But you notice that they take a game that's nobody asked for and you don't hear a lot of hype for, and they just kind of slowly fade away. And it's a shame because it's a great concept. And I kind of agree with you, except X-Wing sells, dude. I'm telling you, from working in a game store, X-Wing sells like crazy. It actually, a lot sells, which is why I don't understand why they don't push the hype behind their X-Wing style game, because they have an X-Wing style game. but they've never given it the hype that was appropriate. And so I know of like a couple people that own it, and I've thought about playing it, and I've had Ben. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. They gave us Aeronautica. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just know that over the last last 6 months, I've been selling tons of X-Wing. I've been selling tons of Armada. We don't even carry Aeronautica in store. I regularly dust, and God, this kills me to say it. I regularly have to dust our Titanicus box sets because people don't even pick them up and look at them. And that should be a game that if people want to play Horus Heresy or people want to play historical cool shit, that is a game to play. Because honestly, that is a really cool game. But GW gives it no hype. But we got Marines and missiles. We got missile launchers. Lots of missiles. Nerf gun list. Space Marines. I don't even know what to think anymore. I mean, I talked to my guys that are playing Horus Heresy, and every week, Horus Heresy introduces, hey, here's a new reveal this week. It's another tank. It's another tank. It's another tank. They keep releasing the new tanks. There have been no infantry releases other than in plastic, other than the initial release. So there's no more infantry. The game is mainly infantry with a few tanks supporting it. All these tanks are great, but you don't have that many tanks in an army. There's a unit that almost every big army uses, which are called breachers. They're basically Marines with shields and short guns. They don't have them in plastic. They're like every army uses them. They don't have them in plastic. Why not? I agree to a point with you on that one, Mythos. They need to flesh out that Primaris line. But the problem is that they flesh out that Primaris line, and again, they do the same thing that everybody complained about when they showed off the Hellblasters. Instead of it being Devastators, which was a 5-man squad, and you could do different guns with them, they're like, it's guys with plasma guns. And now it's guys with missile racks. And it's guys with multi-cannons. The problem with Primaris, and I love them to death, I love the way the models look on a whole. But gosh, they're putting them in these slots. So there's no customization. And then I kind of like the crazy missile shit. I kind of like the way they look. But then I looked at the weapon profiles, like, these are awful. These are awful. These are terrible profiles. Why would I ever take these? Especially for 185 points. Ain't that the truth? They're just, their weapons are underwhelming. The models, to a lot of people, they're not me. I don't mind them. But a lot of people, those models are ridiculous looking. They're absolutely ridiculous looking. And I admit they're silly looking, but I don't care. I don't care if my space... I remember when freaking missiles looked like... The missile launchers were the craziest looking, like... They had a magazine, and they fired missiles in a giant banana-shaped magazine on top of the thing. They were hilarious. Again, I don't mind weird weapons looking weird. That's fine. I like orcs. They have orc characters that are walking around with freaking lightning balls on their heads. I don't mind units look weird. I don't mind that units look unique. I don't mind that. But instead of giving Primaris, who take up 2 full shelves, 2 full 4-foot wide, 6 shelf displays in our 40K section. How about giving any other faction a little love other than 1 or 2 characters every couple of years? Yes, I know that the Tyranids are getting a massive overhaul with it coming up 10th. And the Necrons got a massive overhaul with 9th. And the Elves finally got some love. Okay, that's fair. But they freaking needed it. What about the Drukhari, who have basically a dozen units? What about Chaos Marines that don't have a ranged unit other than Havocs and Obliterators, and you can't get Obliterators separately outside of any box set? D3 plus 3 damage is great. Yes. D3 plus 3 damage is great. They get 1 shot a person. They have 48 inches of range. And that's it. I mean, I hate to say it, but yeah, they're a great anti-vehicular. They're a great anti-vehicular unit. But I've got Eradicators for that. The problem is that they've got multiple units doing the same thing, just doing it in different ways. Everyone says the best, only way to play Devastator is equip the entire. My Devastators, I don't run them with the same weapons. I run a squad of Devastators with. I run 2 Meltas and 2 Grav Cannons. That's the way I run them. I run them the leader with 2 guys with Grav Cannons and 2 guys with Meltas, so I can come in, get work done, and get out. Again, not everybody runs them the same way. I understand that. But again, they're 48 inches. I can use heavy plasmas to make sure I do that 3 damage every round. Yeah, I'm still only getting 1 shot. They're cheaper. I don't know. I just think that they're just another way. Yeah, it's a D3 plus 3 damage. The damage isn't overwhelming. It's just they've got all these different profiles, and it's just like, okay, so there's one of the weapons that's good. That one weapon is good. But the other 3 profiles are basically 48-inch grenades. Who cares? I guess that's my whole thing. It's like nobody was screaming for a need for missile marines. No, I disagree. I don't want everything to be the old way. I really don't. But I dislike the fact that every new unit is. I mean, here's a perfect example. I love heavy intercessors. I love the heavy intercessors. I love the idea of having a 5-man squad that are all walking around in heavy armor with a heavy bolter. I love that unit. I actually actively really enjoy that unit. Is it great? Maybe not. But Iron Hands, I would say they're great. But I enjoy that unit. I look at the missile thing and I'm just like, at 185 points, what are they supposed to do? Are they the anti-vehiculars? Why wouldn't I just use 3 Eradicators that are cheaper and I can run 3 of them and get pretty much the same effect out of them? And again, yes, it's another Marine unit. It's another option. And I'm not saying, well, they shouldn't just do Marines. But I am kind of just saying shouldn't just do Marines. Because that's the thing. Marines just got 2 brand new units. They've got more brand new units at the beginning of this edition than any other line got in this edition. And they keep adding on. And I just... Yeah, they sell. They're the poster boys. I agree. They are the poster boys. That's always the argument. They sell. And they sell. But do they sell because they give them all the love? Or do they give them all the love because they sell? I guess that's the argument I say. Because again, I look at what's on the shelf in my store. I look at what moves in my store. And Marines aren't one of them. Tyranids move like crazy. Tau move like crazy. Votan, I can't keep them in stock. I can't get them restocked either, but that's a different story entirely. Eldar don't sell because Eldar players have the same units they've had all along and don't really have to alter their lists to put in new underwhelming units. And I guess that's the whole thing, is that maybe people should have to change their units up every once in a while. Maybe I should. I'm not. It's... Yeah, and that's the other point, is that it's like you look at... Like I said, they know what will sell. I think if they gave some of their other factions the love they gave the Marines, they would sell better. I think if they gave them the rules love that they give the Marines, they would sell better. I think if they gave them the figure love that they give the Marines, they would sell better. In the end, they're not going to, because Marines are the poster boys of the company. And I get that. I get that, and I understand that. Sisters got a lot of love, and sisters sell really well. When the Mechanicus got love, they sold really, really well. And that is a very important point. Sister models do have... I mean, and that's a really important point. If you look at sisters, basically the basic box of sisters, you could put them down and say they're any other unit in the sisters army other than the Repentia, and I believe you. I'm like, those are Dominions. Okay, yeah, okay, I believe you. Because they're the same freaking unit. They all look the same, other than some of them having slightly different weapon layouts, and I do mean slightly. Yeah. But that's also true for the Marines, because other than the guns, they're pretty much all the same model. So, I don't need a break from 40K. I just need 40K to give some love to somebody other than Marines for a little bit. Again, and I love Marines. I don't want anyone to think I hate Marines. You guys know my primary army is Marines. My secondary army is freaking Marines. My third army is the Guard. I have 2 Marine armies that are both thousands of points. So I love Marines. Don't get me wrong. I look at these missile launcher guys and I go, what niche are they supposed to fill? I'll have a unit of them. I'll paint them up. I'll figure it out. But what I wouldn't give for Chaos Marines to get a decent ranged unit other than Havocs. What I wouldn't give for them to have some diversity. Literally, the Chaos Marines are 5 units. How about we give them some love? Enough ranting. I'm Big D. It is 9 o'clock. And we were not talking about 40K tonight, and we end up back on it again. Because this is all about Warhammer. Chaos Pew Pew. That's what Chaos needs. Chaos needs more Pew Pew. It needs more Pew Pew other than bolters. It needs good Pew Pew. I want Chaos Eradicators. I saw somebody that literally wanted to make an entire Chaos army, but use just Primaris rules. Just say hell with it. I'm just going to put bits on my... I'm going to run them as the Royal Marines because they run better. They run Chaos Marines better than Chaos Marine rules. It might be doable. I like my iron. I like my my word bearers. I love my word bearers, but the current rules don't love them. So, Rob, it's good to see you, buddy. Good to see all of you. It is 9 o'clock, and I am Big D, Warp Storm Gaming, and I am signing out for the night. So, roll better, roll more, play some games, and be epic. Game on, my friends.